This video takes a look at our proprietary projection charting, where we display the long and short watches right on the chart prior to their trigger. If they're not even being considered, then nothing is displayed, and you'll learn how our charts can predict. We're always projecting forward to see what the effect's going to have on our charts and give you that long or short pre-planned trade for swing trading and day trading. Remember to subscribe to our channel while you're here. Go over to activetradersetups.com and bookmark our website and learn more about our Active Trader Setups trading package, multiple day price advances, day trading and swing trading, 4 trade setups, 2 long and 2 short. That's all you got to learn. Pre-built scanners and charts and free training. Okay, we're going to take a look at how our proprietary technology predicts forward. We project what's going to happen to our long and short biased trend shift pivot zone indicator, which is this plot. We're always looking forward to advances or declines in price to see what the effect will be on the factor system. And I pre-recorded this as a live playback, and it progresses through in the prices. And I'm going to show you what happens to the display boxes that are here. When this is a teaching chart, we don't normally even have to see this indicator, and we overlap these two to take up less space and see more of the chart. What happens is every time you see this dotted line here is when this box appears. If it's yellow, it says 2x. If it's green like you had here or here, it actually shifted from 2x to a 1x long watch or short watch. If it's pointed down, it's a short watch, and so forth. It's doesn't even have to be seen. It causes this box to come and go off the chart, and this box recalculates, and that's what we're trying to feature. Our projection in price, up or down, what's the effect, and if the effect is going to cause this trend to shift from red to green or green to red, it will predict that price in advance to the penny. Another part of our charting package is when that change happens, we plot the price on the chart, and you have the option to actually show the exact price and the time that it triggered and to the second, and that will be the exact same price that is plotted here and predicted here to the penny. This is just a learning tool. It remains on the chart until the trend shifts in the other direction. Now you have the option to toggle this message on or off the charts based on your preferences. This is always on the chart. So this particular chart here shifted down, turned red, and gave the price, and it gave the exact time that happened is on the chart. Now we're going to back up and start this over. I'm going to show you how this recalculates. That's the main purpose of the video. As this progresses in price, the predicted long watch price changes. It starts at a higher number, and then as it projects forward, up or down price movement, it will adjust this price. Sometimes it'll go away, and we're going to look at that in more detail. I backed it up to the beginning of where we projected this forward for about 3 days of trading. This is on June the 20th. The stock that morning, here's your day break. This is a 25 factor chart. This is a 50 factor chart, and we're always going to be paying attention to the bigger factor at what or what not might be going on as a prevailing trend. We also teach the expected price action that you'll find on these pullbacks. Sometimes you'll get this going down, it'll go back and revisit, and that's our second alert, is the retracement alert. And we teach two trades, two longs, two shorts. One is the breakdown as we trend shift, and the other is the retracement to come back down. We're looking at our projection here, and we're going to move this forward a little at a time. I'm going to manually advance the charts. As I do that, watch the chart on the left. As it comes back down, it will put a box here. This will come up, and you'll see a display box predicting if it continues to the price indicated. This line will turn back red. This is the current price. These are the algo plotted prices, and then the current's always active on the chart, showing the exact price that it's plotting at. Now, as this progressed back down, the required amount in our algo, it finalized a plot, started the next plot, and as that was plotted, this price appeared, and it says 2x. This is a 25 factor chart, so if we proceed from this point down 50 more cents, 2 times the factor system, this will go short at $62.68, which was exactly by coincidence what took it long right here, but that really is irrelevant. Going to progress a little further. You see this price slightly moving here as we move forward. Goes back up again, and watch this chart over here as well. This is the bigger time frames, our 50 factor chart, so it's the bigger trend. We're definitely in a downtrend, and we teach on our trend shift, like this sideways movement. We went green, back red. Really going back red is not that big a deal. This is more of a chop sideways during this period. The prevailing trend is the bigger downtrend. This had a bigger downtrend as well, and if you drew a trend line across, you can see we're about to break that trend line. Trend shift pivot zone. A pivot is a change of direction. Going to progress a little further. Now, as we went back higher, the box disappeared. So at this point, we were predicting if we continue down to $62.68, which would be right at the line value, it would change this back to a red color for a short bias on the shorter term chart. We're also, as we teach our system, we predict this to pull back as it goes up into this area. That's a retracement, and we really like to see this go up, pull back while it's still red. That makes the long even stronger. Sometimes it'll go long and then pull back to the rising green line like you have here, and we want to take that trade on the pullback. The projection we also teach, if this clears way up here and it's over 3 factors, when it goes long above the line, we expect that pullback. We wait on that trade, and you can glance at the chart, and the dots indicate how many factors are progressing. As we toggle forward, this will disappear because the price is going up. So as this price progressed up, we were no longer predicting within 2 factors that we would turn this from green to red. It's no longer a projection. We're going to go a little further. Price continued up a little more, and now on this continuation, this chart just switched to long at 64.85. That's still 2 factors above this previous close, And the closing price of each dot, the current close, is right here. It says current 63.85 was where this plotted to. Now this is a 50 factor chart. This is projecting 2 times the factor from the last close. We'll take this from red to green. That's 64.85. That's an entire dollar. The next uptick, if we continue, is predicted right here. 64.36 is that uptick close with another penny added to it. And if we continue back down, we will go down to 62.84 before we plot another dot to the downside. Now I want you to watch this. As this progresses up and then makes different movements, it will change this trigger price. As every time it plots a dot, it then looks forward and projects what happens in the next 2 increments in either direction. That's what's proprietary and takes the emotions out of our trading. We got a slight pullback here in the price. I'm going to continue to toggle forward, a little more downward price movement, back up a little bit, up a little more, still progressing along. We may get another box over here to the left. Still no change. We're still predicting 64.85 will take this long. And as I was telling you a minute ago, if we're over 3 factors out, which this would be 2 more factors from this closing price of 63.85, so 2 more factors would be from this line. This is what we want to reference. We would be over, because this is above that, 1, 2 more would be 3, 4. That would be 4 factors out above the trend shift pivot indicator. When it turned green, we're going to predict a pullback before we want to get in that trade if it's over 3 factors. Now we do have our strength indicator. This is very strong. We call it force. And then our power indicator, we like to get the cross where this came down and we went from green to red. We got our momentum indicator, which shifted from 2 yellow ones like we have now to 2 blue ones. If we get the double cross at the same time, the upper one and the bottom one, that indicates momentum to the downside at the time of that cross. We only scan for that. It can happen without that happening. You're normally more coming out of a chop, where this you can see is more chopping, and these were not changing to 2 blue ones from 2 yellow ones like right here it did after it got up here, but to begin with it did not. And when we find it in the state that it does not double cross at the same time, we're probably in a chop, and we don't even alert that particular crossover in our scanners. This next increment in price is going to change this box, and that's part of our proprietary projection charting and no emotions. So we can continue forward here. I'm fast forwarding this little increments at a time. Nothing's changing yet. Now over here we came down and predicted the short. I'm going to back it up slightly. Right here, even on the line, we're not predicting the shift from green to red at this point in time. We're also aware that we expect this to pull back and maintain this and go ahead and go long. So this is mostly chop back here. This is multiple days. We're in the 2nd day of this now. I'm going to toggle it forward 1 toggle, and you can see when it finished this price plot, it projected 2x 62.93, which from the close value, that's 50 cents further down, 2 factors, 25 cents factors, that if it goes to 62.93, it will turn this line red. That will still be above the bigger trend that we're watching this setup on. We don't want to get in the trade early if we're predicting this pullback. If you're looking at a swing trade especially, and on on faster moving stocks, this works exactly the same intraday. We don't want to get in early when we're expecting the pullback. We'll trade the pullback. If you're trading options, you're going to get a better price as well. Now we continued on down another plot, and now our price didn't change, but now it's within one factor of turning this red, and it's still 62.93. And you'll notice the box went from the 2x in bright white to the 1x. When you have a 2x, it's the only thing shown on the chart. When it does go to the 1x, and right here you see the dotted line yellow indicating a box is on the chart, indicating a short watch. If it goes to green, then it's a short watch on a 1x. The next increment, it does go to green, and it shifts to 1x. So now the 1x is the brighter white. It still shows the 2x, but this is always overrides the 2x. Occasionally you'll see a chart that will actually have both in bright white. The one still overrides. Now notice here at this point in time we picked up, we maintained our long watch at the same price we already had. Here we go, the next toggle up. You see this revisiting, just like we predict this to revisit down here. When we break down below this line, many times we'll get the revisit before we get the downward motion. We're still honoring our bigger time frame chart. We're not really interested in taking a scalp here unless you're just looking to make 20 or 30 cents. And you may see this bouncing off VWAP or something like that. That is an inflection point that can indicate you can get some more downside if you're just trying to day trade this stock. Our next increment, we still are maintaining everything, both charts as the same. Continue down further, a little more. We're not quite to the 93 cents. If we plot 93, the dash will show completed next increment. You can see that's 93 is 1 penny above this price. We're always projecting the next finished algo where the dash will go between the dots, and then we add another penny, and this is a red zone retracement and a green zone retracement. It also can be used to watch the next increment levels. Maybe you're watching a chart and you say, I don't want to go short until this clears, and this is telling you what that price is going to be when it plots the next increment level down. So you always got that available to you at all times on the chart. Never closed down there yet. Going back up again. No emotion traded. You don't have to get involved. Now, this is the key thing I want you to watch. This did trigger. And as soon as it triggered, it's looking forward, and it knows if it goes back up to 63.43, it's going to turn this right back to green. That doesn't mean it's likely to go back up there, but it's just automatic. It's so close that it can. What I really want you to watch is right here. When this was way up here, when this finalized this leg, it predicted long at 64.85. This is our proprietary projection charting. When we get this next closed increment down, this price changes. Now, when we close down here, now we've projected to go long at 64.35. We've dropped our long watch price 50 cents earlier, will now shift the trend. This is our proprietary, what sets us apart is we're always projecting forward and looking at what effect that's going to have on our charting system. That was the main purpose of this entire video, was to show you how this can change based on price action. Now, what happened with this stock is it gapped up the next day. I'm going to try to move it on forward faster now. The next morning, the stock gapped up and went way up here. and we had the projection at 64.35 at the end of the day. The next morning it advanced up. This all took place at the open. 9:30 a.m. was all the way up here, and that is the projection that was on the chart. When it crossed 64.35, it shifted this from red to green, plotted it on the chart, and gave you the exact time that happened, which was 9:30 a.m. Now it went all the way up to here at 9:30 a.m. So again, that was a gap up, and then it started pulling back. We also teach when we get X number of factors forward, which this was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Usually 8 to 10 is a big run. You're going to get a pullback. What is a pullback? It's nothing but a Fibonacci retracement. Many times, if you're a Fibonacci trader, you will see like this big advance here. It advanced back up 5 factors and then came back down. This actually had fell from the peak in this area about 8 or 9. That was probably a 38.2 to 50% fib retracement. This is pretty much where this stock closed on this particular day. And one final note, bear in mind, if this didn't gap up and the next morning it slowly went down or up at the open, you would be prepared to take this trade and trade for this profit. In the case of the gap up, we can't foresee that. But many times you'll be allowed to make this trade. It could have hovered here for an hour, hour and a half the next morning, then broke up through here, had your trigger, and had a big multi-day run, or all in one day. And depending on the ATR of the stock, everything we watched on this video can take place in minutes on a bigger time frame chart, and that's where you come in and start day trading. You also can go with your smaller time frames to get your breakouts and take your intraday trades for day trading purposes. All the charts work the same. Smaller the factor, the more quick the movement will be, and the higher the ATR stock, the more advancement you're going to get in an intraday period. This is part of our charting system. All our charts work the same. We also look at inflection points and support and resistance on normal charts as well. And we have many scans for end of day, looking for these setups to take a stock that's in this state and have it on your watch list for a long going forward to set up for swing trades or day trading. Thanks for watching our video. Go over to our website at activetradersetups.com. You can read more about our charts, read